The Evergreen Media Network Studio, powered by Scott Tree Services.
Hey, welcome to Classic Car Radio. I'm Keith McDonald here with Steve Charbonneau and Todd Byron. And Mike's got the day off. He went to a Biden rally, I think.
Oh, really?
He? Yeah.
Was he propping him up?
Yeah.
He's a makeup artist.
Hopefully he's doing the speaking for him.
Yeah. No, Mike would never go to a Biden rally. Don't worry. We're on the Patriot Radio here. We wouldn't do that. Would we?
I would hope not.
No, he would never do that. What I forget what he said. I think he said it was his wife's birthday, maybe Kimberly's birthday.
Yeah, I think it was yesterday or today.
Yeah, so they're going to do something. And I don't blame him. I'd rather be out to eat than doing this, right? So what's new, guys?
Sure.
Anything besides you sitting there saying nothing, helping me? Help me out here. What's new?
You
Anything?
normally do all the talking.
You took the Mustang tonight. That you brought the Mustang in.
I'm
70 Mustang, right?
69.
69. Okay. Yeah. Beautiful.
Just driving it a little bit.
Yeah.
Waiting for the guy to pick it up, so I might as well drive it.
Sure.
We call
What a
it
car.
working the bugs out.
That's right.
How many horsepower is that now? With that, it's not a Coyote, right? Or is it?
Yeah.
Oh, it is a Coyote.
Yeah, it's a illuminator.
Right. That's what I was looking for.
5.2 XS illuminator.
And how many horses usually?
What, like 740 or something?
Wow.
Is that what those things are?
Wow.
Probably more.
Imagine that back in '69 when that car came out. It was like, someday this car will be a monster.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's no power adders. That's all motor.
Yeah. Amazing.
Put a whipple
Beautiful.
charger on it.
I love that blue. That's a perfect blue.
Yeah.
Yeah, very nice. Anyway, guys, did you hear about the new Florida law that just came out on Monday, I guess, or July 1st?
Yeah, don't street race.
Yeah, no street racing. We already had a law in Florida. Governor DeSantis signed a new law, though, because no one's paying attention to a $1,000 fine. The new first-time offender faces a fine of $2,000 and could lose their license for up to a year. As I said, the fine was previously $1,000. They're going to face a third-degree felony and a fine of up to $4,000 if they break the law a second time within a year of that first conviction. And they could also lose their license for 2 years instead of 1. So if you like to street race out there, you might want to think about that. There's also a third-degree felony if you're in a street takeover and you knowingly interfere with the movement of emergency vehicles, especially. It will carry 5 years in prison and $4,000 in fines if you interfere with the movement of an emergency vehicle by doing a street takeover.
Oh, doing a protest in the middle of the street?
No. It's takeover when when they show up and they do the Fast and Furious garbage, they do donuts and the crowd, they block off a street and they do burnouts and they do donuts and all this stuff. And guys hang out the windows and fall out onto the ground and they all laugh at them and stuff. But a street takeover is when they pulled out with their cars and stuff.
Gotcha.
Most of the imports, about 90%.
So you'd be better off just sitting in the middle of the street.
There's way more than imports. There's a lot of it's always Chargers, Mustangs, Cadillacs, and Camaros.
Yeah, that's true.
But most of them are Chargers.
Yeah, that's true. Street takeovers are a real problem, said State Senator Jason Pizzo down in Miami-Dade. People are dying, people are getting injured, and a very coordinated and organized scheme, especially among the 16 to 29-year-olds in the state of Florida, has resulted in deaths in my district and cities, including the one I live in. They've been taken over. All the intersections and emergency vehicles are unable to get in to render aid, and it's a very bad situation. This past Sunday, 4 people were arrested in connection to a street takeover in Tampa. And suppose you're caught during what the law considers a coordinated street takeover, which is defined as 10 or more vehicles. In that case, you'll automatically face a third-degree felony. And as I mentioned, a fine of up to $4,000. So, and that includes the driver's suspension as well. So no more street racing and no more street. They're still going to take over the streets. They're still going to do it. They're just going to hope they don't get caught. They'll have spotters down the end of the road every which way, making sure that the police aren't coming or something. Police usually let them put
These
their
events
lights
get
on.
big though. Like you ever see sometimes there's 100+ people there.
Oh, sure.
10, 15 cars. It's like,
Yeah, it's
how
bigger
can
than that
you
sometimes.
not, a lot of things, honestly, a lot of it is what they say. If you look at some of the videos, the cops just don't care. They don't come. They don't have enough manpower.
Right, that's true.
Well, back in the day,
Think about it.
We used to drag race on 69th.
How many times do you
on
drive down the road
Sunday.
right now and you see cops?
A lot, we do. So you see them. I see them. Well,
I don't see them like I normally
I'm
used
in
to.
Palm Bay. There's a lot.
Like radaring and all that stuff. I remember back when I used to work at my other shop, or like Firestone back years ago. I mean, I'd probably see 10 cops a week radaring. Now, if you see one a week, you're like, that's good.
Yeah, you don't see them setting up radar much.
Yeah, that's what it is. There's not a whole lot out there no more.
Yeah.
I see a lot of them sitting hidden, waiting for someone to run a red light
Yep.
or run a stop sign. I see that a lot.
I'll tell you what, this town is horrible drivers, man. People just do not pay attention.
It's up and down the coast. I'm up in Palm Bay. It's terrible.
Everywhere you
The
go.
wrecks are nuts.
Yeah.
I mean, anybody in the collision business would probably make a lot of money in this town.
Professional bumper car season's ended.
Yeah. I might get into that business. No.
So this is
I know a guy.
this all comes from these Fast and Furious movies. I swear. I think that's where it comes from. The last few, haven't there been a lot of street takeovers in that
Probably that.
those movies?
But like I was saying, back in the day, we used to meet up. It was every Sunday thing. We'd meet up at 69th Street.
Yeah.
And
Underneath the tree.
well, we'd line that whole road would be lined from both sides of the road all the way down.
Really?
When you would turn off from 66 on 69th, you're going to head west. The road would go and then have like a little jog. Once you went around that jog, it was nothing but
Straight wide open.
Really?
race cars, man. People
Really?
ready to race. They were lined up down the street. Some of them were brought in on trailers.
Really?
Oh yeah,
We used to
man.
do that downtown Fort Pierce every Saturday night.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I used to
So-
just cruise around looking for other muscle cars and then challenge them, get behind them. You know how you do it. Get behind them, you rev up,
Yeah.
red light. If it's only one lane, you get right behind them, and then it's your job to pull out to the wrong side of the road and get by them.
I always tried that. I think they got the wrong impression because most of them told me I was number one. Stuck your hand out the window. Hey man, I guess you don't want to race.
My friend's house where they do the Henry Dana car show once a year out there in St. Lucie West. His house is right on the starting line where we used to start racing.
Oh,
There's
yeah?
still a bunch of marks out there. We used to call it Rinker, but now it's tradition or not tradition. Pelican Island, all that St. Lucie West area. But yeah, there's still the big white line there, and there's all kinds of burnout marks and all that stuff. And every time I drive by, I'm like, there's a lot of money right here on my tires.
Right?
Yeah.
A lot of money.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah. Yeah. Those were the days.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Sometimes you would just see a bunch of people on the side of the road, and they'd be yelling, light them up, and then you'd light them up for them.
Yeah.
And after doing that for a few months, you had to go get new tires again.
I used to do that every Friday night up at the
Did you?
Con Beach. Well, that's where everybody went. We would go to on Friday and Saturday nights. Everybody in school, you couldn't park at Con Beach or South Beach till 10 o'clock, and they closed them, and then everyone went down to the Pines or
I see.
Round Island. But I would get there. I had the one wheel peel with my Chevelle at the time.
Uh-huh.
I would peel that one tire from one end of the boardwalk all the way to the other, and come back and do it again.
Then you had to go home and rotate the tire to the other side.
Right, yeah.
Yeah. Thank God, I worked at Hicks, and we had all these used tires, man. So I had a good
there you
supply
go.
of used tires.
Yeah, I did.
Lots
that.
of fun, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Those
I remember
were days.
I had nice highway gears in my first GTO, and I went and put 410s in the back. And what is this ridiculous on the highway? Ridiculous on gas. But boy, did I beat everybody racing, street
Yeah.
racing. I beat everybody because you didn't go too far. You went light to light or, whatever. So,
Right.
but it was fun. It was fun. Good memories.
Yep, I remember when I was young, back and forth to high school, I had a 456 gear with a tunnel ram on it with two 600s.
Oh, gee.
And I used to
Yeah.
drive that car I lived in Port St. Lucie off Dalton Road. I drive all the way out to Becker Road and pick up my buddy Gary and Mike. And then go from Becker Road all the way to Fort Pierce Central, get out of Fort Pierce Central, and then I used to work at the Stewart Advanced Auto Parts.
Wow.
Back then it was discount auto parts, but
With 456 gears.
$25 a day would give you a full tank. Now it's like, forget about it, you
that's
couldn't do
true.
it.
Yeah. Oh yeah, when I was a kid, because I'm much older than you guys, we would pool lunch money, a couple of bucks a piece. My buddy had a GTO, of course, And we could get like 6-7 gallons of gas with a couple of bucks, really.
Yeah.
Back then.
When I first started driving,
33
it was
cents a gallon.
I think it was $1.05 for the 93 back when I first started driving.
Yeah. Now look at it.
No kidding.
And when you guys started driving, it's probably 3 cents.
Yeah. Well, they just invented it when Keaton started driving.
Yeah. No, premium was 33, 35 cents a gallon back then,
Yeah.
Probably on the steam engines back then.
Yeah, we just had to buy wood, a quart of wood, throw the quart of wood in there.
Yeah.
Anyway, we announced last week that we were going to have Congressman Bill Posey in, but we're not going to have Mr. Representative Congressman Posey until next week. And even then, I just talked to his office on the way here, and they said that he's definitely in, but if they call a vote, he can't call in. So he'll be up in D.C., and we are going to talk to Congressman Posey next week, unless they call for a vote. And I think they'll be calling for a vote because I think the Democrats are trying to impeach the Supreme Court now. So they're probably going to be impeaching the entire Supreme Court or something, right? What do you think?
You can try anything you want, really.
Yeah, it's so ridiculous.
These days.
It's so ridiculous. What do we got for time here? But, all right, why don't we just do a quick break? We'll come back. And, by the way, happy 4th of July. If you're listening, if you're watching us streaming on Facebook or on YouTube, happy 4th tomorrow. And if you're listening on the radio, we hope you had a great 4th. And we'll be right back after these messages.
Hi, I'm Joe Scazzari, owner and operator of Scazzari Roof Services Contracting and Consulting. Scazzari manufactures its own standing seam metal roofs in a heavy-duty 24-gauge up and down the Treasure Coast, using only U.S. steel. Only need a repair? Repairs are guaranteed for 3 years. We can do that because we go in your attic, find the leak, see where it is, go out onto your roof, open that area, and repair the leak once, and that's the end of it. Don't be sorry, call Scazzari.
At Sunshine Furniture, our 35,000 square foot showroom is filled with the largest selection of in-stock coastal furniture on the Treasure Coast. Dining and bedroom sets, occasional tables, sofas, sleeper sofas, love seats, and chairs in all the latest styles and colors from Tommy Bahama, Lexington, Hooker, Riverside, Universal, Four Seasons, Braxton Color, and Capri. We're the outdoor furniture experts and have hundreds of styles of any patio furniture you need, including a gallery of Berlin Gardens, Hollywood, and Kingsley Bait. We specialize in fire bits, outdoor rugs, umbrellas, and replacement cushions. Right now, we're having a super summer sale with lots of great markdowns and discounts on everything you need for your Florida home, including all pictures, lamps, and accessories are half price. Sunshine Furniture, $12.95 US 1 in the Publix Plaza, Vero Beach. Don't forget to visit our outlet store directly across the street and visit our website at sunshinefurniturecasual.com.
Sunshine Furniture.
Have you ever wanted your carpets or area rugs cleaned, but you just didn't want to deal with the noise, the wet carpet, and that long dry time? And what happens to all that wet stuff underneath the carpet? Ew! Well, Heaven's Best Carpet Cleaning solves all that with their guaranteed 1-hour dry time. Their low moisture process dries fast, smells great, and it's safe for your kids and pets too. And guess what? They also clean sofas, love seats, chairs, and recliners. Heaven's Best serves all of Indian River County and Barefoot Bay. They're bonded and insured, and your results are guaranteed. Don't put it off any longer. Grab your phone and call Keith at Heaven's Best, 772-643-6999. You'll be thrilled with the results. 772-643-6999.
Welcome back to Classic Car Radio at Vero Beach. I'm Keith McDonald here with Steve and Todd, and Mike is off. So, guys, a few weeks
rocker.
2 weeks ago, we talked about Volkswagen, how they're rolling back their EV program and they're putting their money back into internal combustion engines again. And now, this week, Mercedes announced that they're walking back its all EV future to invest in high-tech combustion engines. So after switching from an EV first and EV only program, Mercedes says it's throwing its weight behind future and further ICE development, which is internal combustion engine, of course. So there we go. Now the Germans are going full force with the gas engines again.
They're getting smart.
They're getting smart.
Chevrolet's doing it. They're coming out with a whole new LT motor, new Duramax. Everything.
Right, yeah. And Ford's already cut back on their trucks, the Lightnings.
Yeah.
So, I mean, no one's buying them.
No one's buying them. I mean, there's no value to it. I mean, if you really think about it,
Right.
you know,
Yeah, it's just, the charging stations and then as far as you can charge and all that stuff,
and as far as the only distance you can go and
Well,
what
they
it takes to build these things, you can't. They're worse for the environment than building the
That's true.
combustion engine.
That's true.
You know?
It hurts the ozone more. But then the biggest thing is that no one understands, and you can check into it and see if I'm wrong, but I know I ain't. To mine and make these lithium batteries and all this stuff for these cars,
Yeah.
it hurts
Look at
tons of people. More cancer effects, all kinds of stuff.
And what about when the batteries go? They got to dump them somewhere. They got to get rid of them.
Yeah, then what are you going to do with them?
Yeah.
Yep.
So we're gonna have all that on top of, and then what do you get? What do you get with an engine? Oh, you just get some CO2.
Yeah, and then
And carbon
You
monoxide.
need CO2.
and then don't
Yeah.
forget about the cost of the battery replacements. People are
Right.
starting to find out.
Oh yeah.
That one,
Huge.
the one Hyundai that's been all over the internet. The guy ran over something in the road, and it did just damage to the bottom of the car, but it cut the batteries and it cut the floorboard, and it was way past 76% of the value of the car to repair, and the car had less than 2,000 miles on it, and it totaled it out. It's the same thing. Like you
How
see
can that be?
Yeah,
You know what I'm saying?
because the battery's 20 something, 25,
27,000 I read. Yeah.
Yeah, and
Yep.
then you had to take all the interior out of the car to change the battery, and then to do the floor pocket and everything and re-embrace it and all that and put it in was astronomical.
That's crazy.
Yeah, it was over 100 and something hours, and
Yeah.
then it's not body repair time; it's mechanical.
Right.
So that's back up to the $100, which that's just it's the cyber cars, the new trucks. Do you see that? They're already listing them all over like Copart and all that stuff. Little minor front end collisions.
Really?
Yeah, and they're totaled out
Wow.
because you can't get parts. And I
That's
think-
the Tesla, right?
Yeah, the
Just
front-
clarifying that.
Yeah, the front part of the hood, it looks like I call it a cardboard box, honestly. But
It looks like a doorstop.
yeah, just for the two front fenders in the hood, they said it was almost 45,000 to
Wow.
do the repair and the structural in it and do the airbags, and it wasn't even that hard of a hit. It's junk.
Really?
Yeah.
That thing's going to go the way of the DeLorean, the original old DeLorean, of course, not the one that goes back and forth in the future, of course.
That'd be worth more.
Yeah. So anyway, the Germans are doing it, and Ford cut back. GM is changing up. They're all changing up. And that if I'm going to say when Trump's elected, that 2030 mandate that Biden put in for I don't know how many EVs, what the percentage is supposed to be way up.
Right.
But that's going to go 2030 is going to go right out the door. They're going to go
car
back to
manufacturers ain't going to agree to it.
right.
It's not going to happen. There's no money in
It's
it.
not going to. So as more automakers begin to realize that transition to EVs is going to be harder than putting out a simple press release, Big Auto is collectively shrugging its shoulders and revisiting the timelines that were proposed at the start of the decade. So they're all falling back from the EVs. I mean, you're still going to be able to buy them, but they're just not going to be pushing them as much. And they're not going to be trying to push the technology.
It's like everything else. People are finally realizing and finding out the truth. They're not getting the wool pulled over their eyes because they're out there in the market and people are posting, look how much it cost me to get my battery fixed. Look how much it cost me with this. The truth is out there.
If you want a Tesla, then go get a Tesla. But don't use it as your main, like a traveling car. You're not going to go on vacation in it. They spent $7 billion government money to put up charging stations, and they only built 7. $7 billion, and they only built 7. So, I mean,
Where's the rest of the money?
I don't know. Who knows? It's
I can tell you where it's at.
yeah, I can
their
tell you
pockets.
too. Yeah. So anyway, So by the way, I was before the show. I was in the office reviewing our YouTube shorts. Our YouTube shorts at Evergreen Media Network on YouTube doing very well. We're getting 500, 600, 700. One of them is like 2,600. views. We're getting a lot of views on these car things. A lot of the car guys across the country, up in Canada, wherever, they're all watching them. I mean, that's pretty good. I'm very happy with the attention we're getting on these shorts. You know, It's really a cool thing. So, so check out our shorts on YouTube at Evergreen Media Network. And just click on shorts, and you have to go scrolling through. And don't worry, we're all wearing our shorts during that, too. Just make sure of that.
Good.
Yeah. And then finally, one other note is, this is for my own behalf, and this has nothing to do with my books. But I am writing humor for Substack, and if you want to go to Substack and check out my latest on the 4th of July. 4th of July for progressives, basically, and it's on Substack.com. Just search for KJ MacDonald, and it'll come right up, and you can check it out. All right, what do we got for time now? I can't see.
21:07.
3 minutes. Okay. All right. So there's a new car museum, not really new, but a car museum is dedicated to the regular traffic of the 70s and 80s. And this is a museum that's got all the cars that we saw on the road all the time. Nothing special, but these are all in great condition, of course, because they're in a museum. So you can see AMC Eagles. You can see those Le Cars. Remember those horrible Le Cars?
Yeah.
It's the forgotten Malaise era, Malaise commuter cars.
Pacers.
Was that?
Omni.
Dodge Omnis, Pacers. But you can also see, like, four-door Saab 900s. And,
there's one right there.
There you go. There's one right there. So you just brought that up.
Man, I had to do an alternator one of them things one day. I think I paid like 11 and a half hours. You had to take the engine out.
Yeah.
Really?
You had to drop the engine down.
Wow.
And it was in the middle of the car.
No kidding.
So they have the curator. This is in Dwight, Illinois, the Crazy 80s Car Museum. And it's focused on the cars from the mid-70s throughout the 80s, largely overlapping into the Malaise era, they called it. That's the super low horsepower cars. So in the wake of the 73 oil crisis...
Chevy Citation.
Oh, yeah, I'm sure.
Jokes,
It's
sorry.
probably got Vegas in there and all that stuff.
LeBaron convertible, the little turbo.
Dodge Horizon.
I remember the Dodge Omnis back in the day. I just seen a bunch of those things on Facebook, and then they got one at the American Muscle Car Museums, the Shelby one.
Oh, yeah?
My buddy Jason
I
had
saw
one of
that
those
one,
back
yeah.
in high
The
school.
turbo?
Yeah, that little...
And they also
thing back in the day. That was the first turbo car I ever messed with.
Yeah.
And I'm telling you what, we won a lot of money with that little car.
Huh.
Yeah, those were designed. Weren't the Omnis and Horizons designed by Shelby?
Yeah.
Yeah, they were called GTs. GHLs. No, GH. Yeah. GLH. It was the Omni GLH.
Yeah.
And that meant Carroll Shelby came up with that. The GLH goes like hell. That's what that meant.
Yeah, because they got one.
Horrible that it took me so long to figure
Muscle
that
Car
out.
Museum.
You're old, it's all right.
Yeah, that's okay. Yeah. I had a
These guys
Biden
spreading the
moment. I had a Biden moment just then. So then we get another news item. John Force, who was in a horrible accident 2 weekends ago, and he had just won the week before. He had just won the New England Dragway race up in Epping, New Hampshire. But he awakens from his injury sustained in a 300-plus mile-an-hour accident. From what I understand, he had some brain damage, so they had to put him out. What do they call it?
Induce a coma.
Induced coma, yeah. They put him in induced coma. 75 years old, and he's still racing. Started back in 1978. He's won 16 championships. Imagine that. He's coming out of it, but he's having trouble. He's having some trouble. He's responding to commands such as his name and all that, but he's having difficulty with, and he's identifying family members as well. So,
that's good.
Anyway, so we got to go. One more break. We'll be back with some tech talk, a little bit of history. We're Classic Car Radio. Don't go away.